Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited about today. Today is all about interior design. I've asked for your questions and today we're going to be answering all of them. Q&As. Today is a Q&A. So I'm all serious. Today. Serious because we're talking about interior design, which is my profession, what I went to school for. And so I'm got my glasses on. I'm in my wing chair to have a talk with you about interior design and share with you the years of experience that I've acquired and hope that I can help you today. And I've got some amazing, wonderful, creative, outside of the box, regular questions, you name it, we got it. So with no further ado, let's get started. Okay, so today again is all about interior design, and I asked for your questions and you guys delivered like nobody's business. Just to talk a little bit about my design career, I've been designing over 20 years and I've had 2 design firms on my own, and I've worked for many very large companies. I've had a lot of celebrity clientele, as well as just your regular John and Jane Smith, whatever. Regular couples, eccentric couples, very wealthy couples, and couples that are on a really tight budget. So I'm going to answer your questions, and thank you guys so much. I'd like to start off by just chatting a little bit about when you're starting a design project. If you do not work with a professional, the number one thing that I have to tell you is not to go into a showroom. Like, let's say you get your tax return and you're like, let's go get new furniture. And you go and that money's burning a hole in your pocket. So you go, you get a swift salesperson, and most furniture stores have salespeople. They don't really have designers. Occasionally they do. The showrooms that I worked at had an interior design department, and the clients would come to me or the salesperson would introduce them to me to help them. Sometimes salespeople, even if there's an interior designer, they don't like to turn you over to a designer because then they have to share the sale, which means less commission. Salespeople make commission in these furniture stores. So to be quite honest, not all, but most salespeople, they want to sell it. They want to get it delivered. And if you like something, they're going to pounce on that. If you like something else to go in the same room, they're going to pounce on that with no regard or knowledge that that piece doesn't go with that piece or doesn't blend well. You know, furniture design and room design is a lot like your eyebrows. Your eyebrows are not identical twins. Your eyebrows are, sometimes not even sisters. sometimes they're cousins, and they're always different. So when you're doing a room, you want it to be cohesive, but there's nothing wrong with being eclectic and mixing traditional, modern, antiques in the room, even a family heirloom that has been passed down from generation to generation, a piece that's a staple in your family. Don't think that you can't have a modern room or a contemporary room and not put that antique secretary or that antique chair or that antique bench in it. My living room is a perfect example. If you watch the intro, you'll see that I've got some antique pieces. I mean, talk about eclectic. My living room has a little bit of everything. What I recommend is, if you're not going to work with a professional, is to go to a bookstore like Barnes and Noble and go to they have a magazine section, which is huge. Go to the magazine section and pick up several magazines like Architectural Digest, Elle Decor, Southern Accents. They have a whole section. Glimpse through them. Don't get discouraged if you see several pages or several rooms, photo layouts on a house that's not you or your style. Delve deeper, because there will be things, maybe one thing in that room that you do like. And then further in the magazine, there might be a room that really speaks to you, or maybe it's a color scheme. What I like to do, or I have done since I was in design school eons ago, is I had one of those accordion files, and I would go through magazines, and if there was something that I liked, I would rip out the page. For example, if I liked a sofa style, but I didn't like the fabric, I ripped out the page, put it in the living room section, and I would have a section for each room, like for dining room, for entryway, for a family room, for a kitchen, for a master bedroom, for a guest bedroom, for a bathroom. And I would section everything off, and I would go into my file for inspiration. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go pick up magazines. It is a ongoing thing. People want to accomplish things right away. We live in a now society, especially in the United States. We want it right now. We want everything right now. And that's not the way to look at it. You want to look at your room, let's just say a living room, or a great room, family room, that's going to have a sofa, cocktail table, side tables, chairs, ottomans, a rug. You want to have kind of a vision of the pieces that you want, the color scheme that you want, and it is an ongoing thing. Unless you have a professional and you have the budget to do it all, it's okay to go step by step or a couple pieces at a time. And that way, your room will end up being timeless. It will look effortless. It will also give you that wow moment, and it will make you feel good. When you walk into a room, you should feel great. You should be blown away, and there's no reason that you can't, even if you're on a budget. Like when you go to a hotel and you get upgraded to like a suite or a mini suite, an extra nice room with an extra nice view, or you splurge and you stay at a nicer hotel that you normally wouldn't, and you walk in the room and you feel so special. And there's no reason why you shouldn't have that when you come home. For one thing, it makes you feel better when you walk into the room, when you're making your coffee, you're looking out over into your family room, and you're just thinking, oh, that's so pretty. When you're entertaining, it motivates you. It motivates you so that when you go to work, you're like, okay, yeah, you know what? This is what I work for. I deserve this, and this shows my hard work. And why shouldn't you have that? So, again, go get some magazines. Architectural Digest. I call it the Interior Design Bible. It is the best magazine, in my opinion, because it has a little bit of everything. Even if you don't like this room, you see the pictures on the wall, and you think, okay, oh, wow, I like the way they hung that artwork on the wall. Measure things. Measure your room. Oh my gosh, getting sidetracked. Measure your room. Measure your room. Get masking tape, blue tape. Tape out on the floor pieces. Don't be afraid when you go to the furniture showroom to ask for measurements, or just go prepared. Bring a tape measure. Take notes, take pictures, so that you remember blue sofa, big blue sofa, 90 inches by 44 inches deep. Write that down. And then don't feel like you have to buy it, even if the salesperson tells you, oh, we only have one more in stock. It's the last one. Just put a deposit on it. No, don't. They're lying to you. Sorry, furniture salespeople, but you know what? Again, they're all about the commission. So, yeah, Architectural Digest, love it because they have traditional, they have contemporary, they have homes all around the world. Elle Decor is another favorite of mine. I love Elle Decor. They are perfect at, both of these, of mixing contemporary and traditional. And have an open eye. Open your eyes, because you might look at a room and think, I don't like this room at all. But you like the way they hung the artwork, or you like the way that they decorated the cocktail table, or you really like the rug in the room. Get that accordion file. Rip out the pages, put it in your accordion file, get a Sharpie, and write on it what it is that you're drawn to in that room. And that will give you a vision. And I wanted to point this out. This is a cocktail book by Bruce Weber. And the book is called A House is Not a Home. And that is so true. Yeah, we all like the model homes. I've done model homes, so mine are especially nice, if I say so myself. But we all see that room and we think, oh my gosh, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. But does it have character? Does it reflect you? Does it look generic? Don't do that. You could do so much more. That's why looking at these magazines is so important. I have a lot of questions to get to. So let's start off. Miss Muse, who is a subscriber on my channel, and she also has a YouTube channel here as well. She asks, how can I make my small bedroom look bigger? I get this a lot. And what I always do is mirrors. When you have a small bedroom, or a small room in general, what you want to do is, if you don't have enough space, what you want to do is you want to play with the height. So I like to do a tall, dramatic headboard. I prefer an upholstered headboard, and don't be scared of an upholstered headboard, because you're going to have pillows. Your head really honestly never touches the headboard, and it's not going to get dirty, and if it does, then you clean it. But I like an upholstered headboard. I like a tall headboard. I like a button tufted headboard. And you can do a button tufted headboard even if you think it's traditional and you're more modern. Do the modern bedding, do a solid color headboard. And then I like to do, this is key, this is the best thing for a small room. You want to do mirrors above your nightstands. So you have your nightstands, you want to do mirrors above the nightstand. They should never be wider than the nightstand. So if you've got a real small room, you've got a 24-inch nightstand, make sure your mirror is 24 inches or a little bit smaller, give or take 2 or 3 inches. 20 inches, that's still okay. But you want it to be tall. You want as tall as you can get. If you can get like a 60-inch high, just measure it. Make sure that you've got the room for it, that it clears the ceiling. You've got about that much beneath the ceiling. And you want to go about, I'd say about 3 inches above the nightstand. So that is a way to make a room look larger, a small room. The mirrors will also reflect. They're going to reflect the lamps that are on the nightstand. They're going to reflect the other side of the room. So it's going to give the illusion that the room is larger. And also playing with the height with the headboard is going to draw your eyes up, which again will make the room look larger. Yiting are nice ceiling lights even worth it for walkways? How often do we look up anyways? Lighting is the most important thing in your home, in any room, because lighting, you can play with your lighting so much. It creates ambiance. It creates a mood. It balances darkness. Like literally, I've done rooms and I painted the walls or had them painted almost black. And you can paint a room black as long as you compensate with lighting. Lots and lots and lots of lighting. So lighting is very important, especially in a walkway. Recessed lights. If you could put a dimmer on it, even better. Because then when you entertain, you can turn those lights down. Or if you're feeling like you just, you have a headache, you've had a long day, you come home, put the dimmer on. Dim the lights down and just get a really nice, peaceful, ambient mood. But lighting is very important. Also, spotlights. They sell portable spotlights. So I love those. They have them at Home Depot. They have them at Lamps Plus. Lighting stores have them. But they're little portable spotlights. And they're good for a couple things. Number one, if you have a big tree, I love a big tree. And it doesn't necessarily have to be real, but it needs to look pretty real. But what you can do is you can put one of these spots in the pot, you shine it up, and what it does is when the other lights are, not really bright, like if you're having friends over or cocktail party, it casts a shadow of the leaves on the ceiling, and it just creates this amazing effect. Another thing you can do with those portable spots is you can focus it on a particular piece, whether it be a side table, whether it be a statue, whether it be like a giant Buddha head. You know, you can point that on or behind it, and it creates just a lovely feeling, vibe, look. Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl Ford. When is it okay to have different colored couches / love seat in a room together, if at all? No, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's never okay. Burn it. Get rid of it. And I'm so blunt when I talk to my clients. You know, but they love me and they trust me because I'm so knowledgeable. But guys, don't do, okay, first of all, a sofa and a love seat. I like to be more creative. I say don't do a love seat at all. Do a sofa, do a pair of chairs, do a pair of ottomans. That gives you seating for at least 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. And then if you have extra company, you can grab a chair from the dining room and bring it in when you're entertaining. But I don't like the matchy sofa, love seat. Love seats to me are very dated. Unless it's modernized, if it has a nice clean arm and you're doing a pair of love seats in the same fabric, that's a lovely look. It's a nice, clean, balanced look. Or do a pair of sofas in the same fabric. That's the way to go. But preferably, I like to mix it up. If you have a great room, then sometimes you have to do 2 sofas. And then maybe you'll have a pair of chairs over here, a pair of chairs over there, a pair of ottomans over there. If you have a small room, then you can do a small scale sofa. Just watch the arms, because arms are a huge space waster. Unless you have, you know, you're in love with like a rolled arm. Otherwise, that giant rolled arm, it's taking up seating and it's taking up space in your room. Again, unless you have a big room. But I like a nice, keep an eye on the arm when you're looking at sofas. But ideally, if you have an average size to smaller room, I like a sofa and I like a pair of chairs. And you can always throw a pair of ottomans in the room. Great question, Cheryl. My face recognition does not recognize me. Okay. Always on a budget. Oh, Penny Cats, I love you. Always on a budget. What should be my best investment pieces? Okay. Investment pieces. Again, what I was talking about earlier, about you don't have to finish the room all at once. Take your time. This is an ongoing project. And if you're getting a decent quality, then it's going to last a long, long time. But good investment pieces are, let's see, number 1, lamps. Lamps, unless you go to like Home Goods. Home Goods, they do get high-end lamps at great prices. But some of the nicer lamps are like $75. And some people might look at that and think, oh, that's a lot. That's a lot for a lamp. A lamp is one of the most important things in your room. If you go to Target and you get that $50, $25 lamp, trust me, it's going to show. Spend your money on lamps. Another thing to spend money on would be pillows. Pillows, you want them down filled so that you can actually, like, literally, well, this one's not down, but this one was part of my bedding set, so it's not down. But any other pillow in my house is gonna have down in it because I love to, it's called the karate chop. You can chop it and it makes that kind of like giant fortune cookie shape. And yeah, down pillows. Or even if you have to buy the casings, you know, you can be creative. Right now is such a wonderful time for designing and interior design because you have places like Etsy. You have places like discount places like Wayfair. You have furniture or stores like Home Goods, Tuesday Morning, and you can find like some really good pieces for not a lot of money. So lamps, pillows. I was saying Etsy, like let's say you get the pillow casing, that you can order a down pillow anywhere. But yeah, so you want that down pillow. You want that luxurious feeling. So even if you're, you know, on a budget with your sofa, you're not spending a lot of money, you know it's not the best quality, but it's in a nice clean fabric, throw out the pillows that came with it. Because I guarantee you if you're spending under $1,000, the pillows that come with it are not going to be down-filled. They're going to be a polyester, horrible fabric that is in every single showroom in America. You want something unique, original, that expresses yourself, your personality, and brings out your color scheme. Also, you know, garage sailing, estate sales. Look in your online. Look in your, I was gonna say newspaper. Do we still do newspapers? But go to break for garage sales, because I'll tell you something. A lot of times people don't realize what they have. I have found amazing lamps that were vintage, that were gorgeous, but the shade was dated and ugly and falling apart and made it look like it was like from a bad 60s scene. And I've gone and bought a new lampshade to put on this fabulous lamp, and it just gives it a new life. And then it looks like you've spent $2,000 on a lamp. Cocktail table books, those you can find online. Go to Barnes & Noble, look at the interior design cocktail table books. They are going to be much more at Barnes & Noble, but then if you go online and put in the title of that book, you can usually find it for half the price. Get cocktail table books. A rug. You want to invest in a rug if you can. You know, there's all kinds of rugs. And I got to tell you, the rugs nowadays are, the inexpensive ones have stepped up their game. There's some really good looking rugs, very thin, that look silk. And at Home Goods, you can find these rugs that they sell at Living Spaces for $1,000 for like a 9x12. You can find at Home Goods for like $400 or less. And so invest in your rug. If you can, invest in everything and then just take your time. But again, being creative, you can do a room, garage sales, these discount stores, having your game plan. You can create a room that looks like it's straight out of Architectural Digest. Maggie May, I love you. Maggie, I really just like match-up furniture. Example, table and chairs. Is matchy ever okay or suggested? Fabulous question. Um, matchy is important, and I'll tell you how to do it properly. For example, you have a sofa. Your sofa has a track arm, which is like just a squared off, clean arm. Um, then you have a pair of chairs. The chairs are going to be in a different fabric. They're going to have a different vibe from the sofa. So right away, you're already not matching. Then I do like the side tables. If you have two side tables on either side of a sofa, I do like those to match. The lamps, I do like those to match. And you got to trust me with this. The cocktail table can be different. So let's say you got your sofa, you got your chairs, you got your matching side tables. Let's say they're wood. Let's say you've got cylinder glass lamps. Again, a different material. And then you have your cocktail table. With your cocktail table, you can bring in glass, acrylic, brass and glass, metal and glass, a mirrored cocktail table, which is another element. It's all about the different textures, materials, and elements in a room. Ottomans, I like a pair of ottomans that match, but in a different fabric. So you've got the fabric of the ottoman, you've got the fabric on the chairs, you've got your fabric on the sofa, which is clean. Then you've got a bunch of random prints on your throw pillows. So even though you're matching things and doing pairs of things, the room is not going to look matchy. It's not going to have that vibe. It's going to look very eclectic. It's going to look very sophisticated. So that's the way to do it. So don't be scared to match your side tables. But with all those different elements and materials and fabrics and textures, you're layering and you're creating a really interesting and chic look. What should I spend good money on? Juliet. Hi, babe. Love you. What should I spend good money on? And what is a waste of money? A waste of money to me is, again, getting a $25 lamp at Target, or going into a furniture showroom and getting the least expensive lamps that you can find, because you want everything that day. Because you're going to look at it and you're going to think, you know what, I settled for that. And you're going to dislike it and you're going to replace it eventually. So that's a waste of money. So save your money, do special financing, go to garage sales, go to discount stores, have your game plan, measure your pieces, and for heaven's sakes, put down the tape, the masking tape on the floor, so you know exactly how it's going to fit in your room. Let's see. Okay. Living with pets. What are the most pet-friendly furniture ideas / pieces? Oh, this is from Emma Campbell. Hi, Emma. Living with pets. What are the most pet-friendly furniture ideas, pieces? It's always a struggle in my house. Cats think everything are their personal scratching posts, and the dogs take over the couch. How can we coexist in harmony? The pets are keepers. Of course they are. I'm an animal person. I love my pets. I have 2 cats and I have a dog. I've always had animals growing up. They are a part of my family, and Emma, they're part of your family too. What I recommend with pets is, well, okay, the steer hides, um, you know, are wonderful because you have to think of a cow. A cow is out in the rain. It's out in the against barbed wire, you know, in the elements. So those things are indestructible. They cannot mess that up for nothing. Also, the inexpensive silk looking real thin rugs, those are really good with pets. Pets are drawn to nubby things that they can dig their claws into. But another thing, one thing, a side note, clip your cat's nails. You just have to watch out. When you're clipping their nails, you want to squeeze their paw so the nail comes out. There's a little pink thing inside the nail. You do not want to go near that because that is like actually a vein and it will bleed and it will hurt them. But you can use like cuticle clippers, squeeze their paw, make those nails come out, clip the nail at the same angle as their nail, and keep their nails clipped because that will save your furniture. Number 2, get a fabric that is like kind of like a tweedy fabric that has a little texture, a little nub to it, because if they scratch it, you can just take a pair of really fine scissors and just clip. You can just clip away those little threads that they've loosened up, and it won't show the scratching, as opposed to like just a flat velvet fabric. It's going to show and it's going to ruin your sofa. So get something with a little texture that you can trim. If you've got a real problem child, then get double-sided tape. I recommend this for animal people when you first get something delivered, especially because they're going to try it. So if you do it right when it's delivered, the day it's delivered, and you put that double-sided tape on the corners, the back corner, because they're going to go to the corner. They're going to go to the arms, put it on the arms, any corners, put the double-sided tape. They're going to go up to it. They're going to touch it. They're not going to like the smell of it, the texture of it at all. And leave it on for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks or longer, depending on how feisty your cat is. But what that will do is then you can take it off. They're going to remember that sensation, and they're going to be like, oh, you know, like like I can never drink gin again, because gin, I had Jello shots once. Oh boy, I had a whole pan. I couldn't taste the gin. I got so drunk. I ended up in a parking lot and throwing up on a security guard's shoes. And then he had to carry me back to the party, which is very embarrassing. But I can never drink gin again. So just like that, the cats, they'll remember that sensation and they'll be like, ugh. And they won't gravitate towards that. So that's my advice for that. David. Hi, David, darling. How do you choose appropriate colors for rooms and furniture? What colors are suitable and what are definitely no-nos? Good question. Great question. You choose colors for you. It's that simple. Like I said, when you get the magazines and you go through, you're going to rip out some pages because you love the colors in that room. So let's say you like golds and greens and those fall tones. You know, go for it. Uh, I have to interject this. A rule of thumb is this. You can have one of every type of fabric in the same room. You just don't do the same pattern, or you don't do a different pattern or colorway on another piece. Let me back up. So you can have a stripe, you can have a diamond, you can have a damask, which is that big kind of scrolly leafy pattern. You can have a dot, you can have a velvet, you can have a leather, you can have a tweed, you can have a floral, you can have a suede, a fur, all in the same room. But if you're gonna if you want to put a stripe, another stripe in, it has to be the same stripe. So don't do a stripe over here, a different colored stripe over here, a different colored stripe over there. No. Use that same stripe fabric. Now, when you go into the other room, it's a whole new story. But you want to be cohesive from room to room to room. When you're walking through a home, you want each room to feel like it's the same home, the same vibe. So it's just like butter walking through. You know, it's like you've got the fall colors, tones. So you're in the living room and you walk towards the dining room. You've got that same fall color scheme going. And you go into the family room. You've got that same color scheme going. You can amp it up a little bit, go a little warmer, a little richer, a little brighter, but keep the same flow going throughout the home. The color's up to you, babe. So do you. If you like green, then do green. If you like black, do black. If you like gold, do gold. If you like hot pink, do hot pink. And do the colors that you're most drawn to, that you love the most, that you gravitate towards the most. Because then you're not going to get tired of it. And if you do, then you can switch out. I always like to do a neutral, when I'm doing design jobs, I like to do a neutral fabric on the biggest piece, which is the sofa. Then I like to bring in all my colors on my chairs, on my throw pillows, and bring the colors in that way. So got you, David. Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Sarah Ward. Hobby, particularly like dolly, people who collect dolls, and hobbies. Storage solutions, please, particularly for people with smaller spaces. That's a good question. And well, I like to a couple things for storage. Number one, you could find an antique trunk, especially if you can find one from like India or the Philippines. You can find something that's really like carved and beautiful. And a lot of places like in downtown, if you live close to a metropolitan city, there's a lot of like Chinese antique stores, but they also just don't have antique stores. If you go particularly to Chinese, they will also have new things that'll be less expensive. You can also negotiate the price. I love just a big trunk, and you can use it as a cocktail table, and it allows you to open it and to store things inside that you can open up and get them out as needed. Another option is if you have a collection of something like dolls, in particular like Blythe dolls. We've got Naomi over here. You can get shelves, just long shelves, with the supports, and get different sizes and different lengths, and then stagger them. Like have one short one up high, a middle one, a long one, a shorter one, and that way you can show off your collection. Also, if you look on like Amazon, Hobby Lobby, they have little glass rectangle cases that you can put them in to help prevent dust from happening. Another thing for storage is there are trunk tables, like side tables, but they actually have a door, so there's storage inside. So whenever you can find something instead of just four legs or four legs and a bottom shelf, try to find something that actually has a door that you can open and store things inside. So that's my advice for storage. Nikki Murdoch. Hi, Nikki. How are you, babe? I am thinking of putting an engineered wooden floor in my living room and dining room downstairs. Both rooms flow into each other. The color on the walls is a dark hunter green. You go, girl. Oh, just a side note on paint before I get to this. Paint, if you're going to paint a room, paint the room. I don't believe in accent walls using paint. I don't mind an accent wall with wood, with stack stone, with antique mirror, or beveled mirror. That's fine, but don't paint an accent wall. If you're going to paint a room, paint the whole room. And also, don't be scared to go with a warmer color on your ceiling. It's a really, really stunning look. So let's say you're going with like a light taupey color on the walls. Don't be scared to go with like a dark taupe on the ceiling. It's really striking, and especially if you have a chandelier in the room, wow, it makes a really nice statement. So I love that you have dark walls. So the color of the walls is dark hunter green. Is it best to keep it dark and cozy or a bit lighter with the wood? I don't like, I like wood floors with different tones in them if you're going to go lighter. So if you do a lighter floor, I like that because that creates balance with the dark and the light. It's all about balance. Like if you have something low, you want something high in the room, and then something low and something medium, and then something higher. So it's all about that balance. So, and also with the floors, if you're going to go lighter, try to find something that has character and has lights and darks in it. And as far as the dark and cozy, I don't mind that either. I wouldn't mind seeing a darker floor in there with the dark hunter green walls. It was hunter green, right? Yeah. But just remember, you can go dark, but you have to compensate with lighting. So if you're doing a warm floor and warm walls, then compensate with lighting. Get some extra lamps in there. Get a floor lamp in there. Get a chandelier in there. Get some of those portable spotlights, canisters. Okay, how do you feel about brick wallpaper? Jenny Archibald. Hi, Jenny. How are you, babe? Yeah, no, probably not. If it has a 3D effect, then I'm okay with it. If it looks real, if you look at it and it's 3D, so it's actually like a textured wallpaper that comes out and actually looks like real brick, then go for it. And that's fine for an accent wall, again, because that's not a paint. It's a texture. So, but shop around because you'll be surprised. You can find stone facades um, that you can put on a wall. And they're only like that thick and they're not heavy and they're not much more than wallpaper. So that's my answer there. How do you, David, thank you, how do you decide furniture for the size of the room? Too small, too big, dot, dot, dot. So again, measure the room, get the like drafting tape or just masking tape or the blue paint tape and tape things out so that you know your walkway, you know how much room you have, you know how big it is going to be in the room. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they go to a furniture store and they see these vignettes where they put together a room and it looks beautiful and you think, oh, I love that. That looks great. Let's get this. Let's get this sofa and this chair and this. And then it gets delivered and it's too big or it doesn't fit or overwhelms the room. Send it back. Send it back immediately. Don't just say, oh, I guess we made a mistake and sign off on it. No. Most stores will give you a credit. You can go back, find a proper size. So if you have a small room, that would be the case to do like a love seat. But do a love seat or they call them apartment sofas. So it's a sofa, but it's smaller in scale. Watch the arm size. Again, get a narrow arm. That way you'll have more seating on the cushion. I do love a good bench seat, which is just one single cushion as opposed to the separate cushions. That keeps the room looking long and sleek. Use mirrors. Again, mirrors reflect and they make a room look bigger. Get a big ass mirror, put it on a wall, and then put artwork around it on either side. But if you have a small room, you're going to need to do small scale furniture. So a petite chairs. And you can still do the sofa, the 2 chairs, the 2 ottomans, but you're going to do probably like a 78-inch sofa or love seat. And you're going to do a small scale chair that's like no bigger than like maybe 30 by 32. And then with your ottomans, you're going to want to do 20 by 20. And those can always be flanked on the other side of the cocktail table or against a wall below a large mirror or a large piece of art. So if you have a small room, you want to do smaller scaled furniture, but play with the height. You can do a smaller chair, but it can have a really tall, dramatic back, and that will give you that wow moment that we all want. Cruelty-free design. Cruelty-free designing. Brian. Love you, Brian. Cruelty-free design. Well, if you're like vegan and you don't want anything like that, there's plenty of like faux leathers that actually look like real leather. I hate that one leather that's like it feels weird. It almost looks like dead flesh. You know what I'm talking about? But there are good leathers that are like have a sheen to them. They even have some faux leathers that look distressed. They do sell the steer hides that are faux, and not a real hide. Um, and so yeah, just be conscious of what it's made of, and you can definitely establish a beautiful, beautiful room. I think that is all the questions that we have for today. So if you guys like this, I'll be doing this again. So please put your comments below, and also put your questions for the next segment, interior design Q&A. And while you're at it, please, you guys, give the video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please, please, please tell your mom, tell your sister, tell your cousin, tell your friends about my channel. I really, really appreciate it. I'm really trying to grow my channel. I'm losing my patience. You know, I'm trying to put good content out there and be consistent, and it's a lot of work. So whatever you guys can do, if you want to see me here, if you enjoy my channel, please share. Please tell your friends. I appreciate it so very, very much. So I think that was really fun. I hope I gave you a lot to think about and to inspire you and to start designing your home, your room, whatever room that may be. And any questions, put them below and I'll cover it on the next one. The more questions I get, the sooner the next video will come. I want to thank you guys again, and please have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it may be. Thanks, guys. Hi, welcome back. Hi. 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 I almost killed myself again. I shut my glasses and it almost went down my throat and stabbed my brain again.